Hello, everyone. There are certain instances in this world that just disappoint. Not even like in a condescending way, like generally a disappointing phenomenon. And today, that comes in the form of Joe Biden. Less about his actions, which we will get into in a bit, but rather the media and their reporting. By now, if you're on Twitter or follow other news sources, you may have seen these reports about Joe Biden having inappropriately touched women in various stages of his professional career. Like this article from ABC. Former Nevada lawmaker Lucy Flores accused Joe Biden of inappropriate touching and kissing, calls encounter awkward and disturbing. The former Nevada lawmaker, who says former Vice President Joe Biden inappropriately touched and kissed in 2014, told ABC News she remembers the encounter as awkward and disturbing. Lucy Flores, a social justice advocate who served as a Nevada assemblywoman, said in an interview on Good Morning America that when Biden campaigned for her when she was running for lieutenant governor, he allegedly leaned in behind her, smelled her hair, and gave her a slow kiss on the back of the head. Now, in regards to this instance in particular, I cannot say if she is telling the truth or if she is lying, because as far as I know, there is no legitimate proof of this case specifically. But some absolute mad lad has created a website, joebiden.info, as a faux 2020 presidential race website. It is entirely satire, however, but it highlights the images of inappropriate touching. I will play a few here, and they are just creepy. I hate all of this. It's so terribly uncomfortable. This one is one of the worst, because it certainly appears like he is groping a child. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, but the girl's face says I really, really shouldn't. Now again, the weird thing was how the media interpreted it. To start out, the media responses, let's look to Nancy Pelosi's interview on Politico yesterday.
What is your reaction to these allegations? Now there's two people who have said that he made them feel uncomfortable. Is it disqualifying, and what is your reaction to that?
I don't think it's disqualifying because I think disqualifying is with what your intention is. I do think this about communication in general, beyond this. I'm a member of the Straight Arm Club. I'm a straight armor. What I think that it's important for the Vice President and others to understand is it isn't what you intended, it's how it was received. And that's generally about communication in general. So to say, I'm sorry that you were offended is not an apology. I'm sorry I invaded your space, but not I'm sorry you were offended. Because what's that? That's not accepting the fact that people think differently about communication, whether it's a handshake, a hug. Now, as you said, I know Joe Biden a long time. My grandchildren love Joe Biden. I mean, he's an affectionate person to children, to senior citizens, to everyone. That's just the way he is, but that's just not the way. Join the Straight Arm Club with me, if you will.
Now, this is probably the most political response we could have gotten. She makes some good points and then wavers a bit when she says that he's an affectionate guy, but holds to her guns when she says straight arm club, meaning stay at arm's length. Okay, this is yesterday. How about before that, while allegations were coming out? From The Atlantic, Joe Biden bets the country will accept his affectionate behavior. The former vice president says a woman's complaint about an unwanted kiss won't keep him out of the presidential race. Now, the majority of this article is strictly objective, at least the first part is, and almost nodding to the fact that what he did could be considered inappropriate as opposed to flat-out condemnation. For Biden, 45 years in public life is 45 years of hugs, kisses, foreheads leaned against foreheads, shoulder touches, and gripping hands. It's been right out in the open in photos and videos, goes the argument. But that conviction can obscure how much the sensibilities have changed. He's handsy, and some women are okay with it, and some are not, said Rebecca Katz, a Democratic consultant. The defense isn't some women were okay with it. Now see, this is an example of an odd doublethink, because if you notice, this is actually a dig at Trump's backstage Hollywood tape, while at the same time excusing Biden's behavior as, well, at least it wasn't as bad as Trump. Which, by the way, still has no direct proof. Continuing the article, it references Alyssa Milano. And Alyssa Milano, the actress and vocal women's rights advocate, rose to Biden's defense on Monday. I respect Lucy Flores' decision to share her story and agree with Biden that we must all pay attention to it, but Just as we must believe women that decide to come forward, we cannot assume all women's experiences are the same, she wrote on Twitter. I believe that Joe Biden's intent has never been to make anyone uncomfortable, and that his kind, empathetic leadership is what our country needs, especially now. Intent doesn't matter, Alyssa. Context doesn't matter, remember? This is the Me Too era. He's wrong. Why won't you condemn him? Now, of course, I am playing the part expected of the age in which we live. People know him. He's an empathetic person. He's a caring person. He's a physical person with men and women. He grabs your hands. He hugs you, the person close to Biden said. That's an asset. That's not a liability. People connect to him in a unique way. That's a good thing. That's a powerful thing. That's why people love him so much. Now, I will point out that the person who said this is not Alyssa Milano, but in fact somebody else from that article. But this post says that it's a good thing that he's handsy. And I'm so confused. The article's long and has a lot more detail in it if you're interested in the story, but I wanted to compare something. From The Atlantic, please see this headline. Kavanaugh bears the burden of proof. The question isn't whether he can win confirmation, it's whether he can defend against the charge he faces in a manner that is both persuasive and honorable. Let us all take into consideration what this means. The accused bears the burden of proof if he's a conservative, if he is a Democrat, and has evidence of said behavior against him. You know, as Nancy Pelosi says, it doesn't disqualify him. Now, of course, Kavanaugh's accusation was much more violent and distressing than just inappropriate touching. So let's go with a 1-to-1 comparison, shall we? That's right. Vic Mignogna. You had to know I was going to go there. From Newsweek from several weeks ago, allegations against the 56-year-old actor come from the con attendees who accused Mignogna of kissing and embracing them without consent. Others accuse Mignogna of rude and homophobic behavior. The behavior has reportedly gone on over the course of his career, with some allegations dating back to 2008. Then we have these tweets a little further down. I believe survivors wholeheartedly and strive to continue educating myself through the voices of those I trust. I encourage you to do the same, and most importantly, listen. And others like, we need to listen to what is happening and be there for people that tell their stories. You are brave for speaking up. We are with you. Versus tweets in support of Biden. Stop this unfounded attack on Joe Biden. Trump is literally extremely offensive to women. 20 women have accused him of sexual misconduct and abuse. He is a known associate of child abusers. Let's talk about that instead. But maybe you'd prefer blue check marks. Well, here's Alyssa Milano's. Oh, and this is one from the Gateway Pundit, which talked about a New York Times reporter who said, in 2017, mind you, in the past 24 hours, a new alt-right fake news meme had emerged of Biden as a predator. How will Twitter handle? She followed that tweet with Russian conspiracy baiting. Now, Biden has come out and said he will do better. But again, my problem isn't really with him. Though his actions are reprehensible, I'm not surprised. What I am surprised about, and subsequently disappointed in, is how partisan the media is. Of course, this isn't news in and of itself, but I just sometimes hope. I hope that people will do the right thing. And even more disappointing are some of the individuals in the Me Too movement giving Joe a pass. What a fucking disgrace. You think this is okay according to the rules you set out? Or does he have the right politics, and therefore is absolved like one baptized by John in the River Jordan? But that's it for today, guys. Just as a reminder, no political recap tomorrow. It will instead be on Friday. I may do something tomorrow, I'm not sure yet. But leave a comment down below, share around the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.